Hello, everybody, and welcome to Something to Talk About. We have a pretty big character this time. We got good old Jason Mallister. We might be talking about some will. We might be doing some will readings. But before we get into that, I have to say, hi! Welcome to Something to Talk About. My name is Taco. I talk about some fire characters. Let's go! Welcome. You've never been here before. And if you've never been here before, as I just said, but I'm going to say it again, then you might need to read this because this is what I have going on. Pause it. Go ahead and read it. All right, cool. Let's move on to Jason Mallister. It's a big character with a big topic tied to him, and that's Robb's will. Oh my god, I'm ready. I'm ready for this. I'm ready. Okay. Richard Horp was the character that went out earlier this week. It was much shorter, way less slides. I could just rock through it. Oh, it's gonna be big. All right, guys, you ready? Jason Mallister. All right. Lord of Seaguard. Jason Mallister is the Lord of Seaguard and head of House Mallister. He has at least one son, Patrick. Lord Jason is tall and lean. His brown hair is mixed with white, although here it's just full on gray. And his fierce blue eyes, and he has fierce blue eyes. He has a gaunt, chiseled face and high cheekbones. He is clean shaven. Again, this guy's not clean shaven. Jason is known for his courtesy and his honor. Catelyn Stark thinks he is still handsome and rides like a man who fears nothing. Jason's armor is indigo chased with silver, and his helm is decorated with wings of an eagle. I still love the Miko. I will use Miko art for thumbnails because I love the Miko, but yeah, it says he's clean shaven. Man, maybe this is like later on when he like gets grayer and grows his beard out. There's no evidence that he does those things, but whatever. I'm giving benefit of the doubt because I still love the art. So yeah, and we support artists and love artists here. All right, so the second slide. So that's Jason Mallister. So the second slide is always the house. So let's talk about House Mallister. House Mallister of Seaguard is one of the most prominent noble houses from the Riverlands. Seaguard is a fortress built to defend the coast against the reavers from the Iron Islands and dates from before Aegon's conquest. House Mallister has a prouder lineage than the Lords Tully of Riverrun. Yeah, these guys go back and they are proud. The Lords Paramount of the Trident. The Mallisters famously distrust the Ironborn. They hate the Ironborn. Okay. All right. Their heraldry is a silver eagle displayed on a purple field, and their motto is above the rest. Gotta love the Mallisters. There's like the Mallister up at the wall who hates Cotter Pike because he hates the Ironborn. These guys are great. I love the Mallisters. I'll probably cover more Mallisters eventually. Probably the one I just mentioned. Maybe one day. It's not planned, possibly. Mallisters are great. So let's talk about good old Jason. So Jason is known to have been the Lord of Seaguard since at least 278 AC. So that's what, 22 years from around when the book's 21 years. Lord Jason is renowned tourney knight, participating in several tourneys over the years. He was defeated at a tourney at Storm's End by Prince Rhaegar Targaryen and Barristan Selmy. Wow. As bannerman to Lord Holster Tully, Jason attended the Riverrun wedding of the Hoster's daughter Catelyn to Eddard Stark, where his gifts were lavish. The same wedding was Jon Arryn and Lysa Tully too. So he went to that double wedding during a war and brought lavish gifts. This guy is classy. So during Robert's Rebellion, Jason fought in the Battle of the Trident, slaying 3 of Rhaegar's bannermen. During Greyjoy Rebellion in 289 AC, he killed Roderick Greyjoy beneath the walls of Seaguard. Wow. Throwing the Ironborn Reavers back into the sea. So that's one of Balon's sons. That's like one of Theon's brothers, man. Ooh, that's a high profile kill there, JC. After the conclusion of the Greyjoy Rebellion, King Robert ordered a tourney at Lannisport to celebrate his victory. There, Lord Jason was defeated again by the eventual champion Jorah Mormont. Jason does he win any of these tourneys? He's had them a lot, but does he win any of them? But yeah, so that's like 20 years of this guy's life. So he becomes Lord of Seaguard. He fights in tourneys. He fights in Robert's Rebellion, fights in the Greyjoy Rebellion and gets the Greyjoys, and does some tourneys. So speaking of tourneys, I got one more for you. The Hands Tourney. Lord Jason travels to King's Landing accompanied by his son Patrick and a small party of knights and squires to participate in the Hands Tourney, which was, when Neddard Stark, I call him Neddard, was like forced to have a tourney for him. So yeah, so during the tourney, Jason defeats Sir Aaron Santagar, which is the Red Keep's Master at Arms, in a joust. They travel from Seaguard by the way of the King's Road and pass Catelyn Stark and Sir Roderick near the inn at the crossroad, but do not recognize them. He walked right by Roger Cassell and Tully, Catelyn Stark, and was like, didn't notice. But yeah, she's like, oh, there's Jason Mallister. Oh no. Oh, he rode by. It's fine. So let's get back into war. So we're going war tourney. We just did a tourney, so war. Back to war. I love that art there, by the way. It's great. In the opening week, see, he's getting a beard in this art too. All right. In the opening weeks of the war after the death of King Robert, Kavan Lannister identifies Lord Jason of House Mallister as one of the only standing threats to the Lannister campaign in the Riverlands, but Lord Tywin Lannister disregards his brother, believing that Jason is not strong enough to fight alone. He's like, shut up, Kevin. I didn't ask you to talk. Why are you talking? Grand Maester Pycelle sends ravens demanding that Jason and other river lords swear allegiance to King Joffrey, which he probably just threw away. Because who cares? Once Robb Stark marches past the twins, Lord Mallister adds his strength to Robb's, and he takes place in the Battle of the Whispering Wood, which he captures Lord Gawain Westerling. The Mallister Eagle is one of the banners spotted during the Battle of the Camps as well, so he was most likely in that too. After their victory, Jason sits at Robb's war council, where he suggests fortifying the Riverlands and cutting off Tywin from supplies and fresh men. Robb is proclaimed king at the north of this council. I just covered a lot. So Robb marches south. He meets up with them. They help get Riverrun back. After that, he's like, hey, we need help in the Riverlands. We need to, cut Tywin off. And then Great John starts going, king of the north. And next thing you know, Robb's the new king in the north. So, yeah, Jason Mallister was there for all that and, participated. So, yeah, let's keep going. So back to Seaguard. So when Robb announces his intention to send his friend Theon Greyjoy back to the Iron Islands as an envoy, Catelyn unsuccessfully suggests sending Jason instead. Probably a good idea. Yeah, because Theon betrayed him. So it probably would have been a good idea to send Jason Mallister, who's a little more of a strong presence. And also, though, Jason killed Balon's son. So I really wonder how that would have turned out. Would that have been a good idea? Bad idea? I don't know. All right. Maybe. Jason returns to Seaguard accompanied by his son, Patrick, and Theon. When he thinks his son is growing too close to the young Ironborn, Theon, Jason reminds Patrick whom Seaguard was built to protect against. Yeah, so like Patrick Mallister and Theon are getting chummy, and then Jason's like, dude, we don't talk to them. We don't talk to Ironborn. They stink. We hate them. That's why we built this. Because they attack all the time. Oh, yeah, sorry, Dad. Yeah, so as no ships from the Iron Islands await Theon on his arrival in Seaguard, Jason believes that the ravens Robb has sent from Riverrun to announce Theon's return have been lost, and thus he sends his own birds. No, Balon just doesn't care. That's pretty much it. So Robb's return. At the Battle of the Fords, Jason commands the defense of 4 fords along the Red Fork, including one of the closest including one closest to Riverrun. There you go. Catelyn watches Jason's men defeat Lannister riders, and Jason later sends a message to inform Riverrun that Lord Flemeth Brax has been defeated. Okay, so what all did I say? So the Battle of the Fords was kind of when most of the North guys were going, you know, they were either with Boltons or going with Robb over into the Westerlands during the Westerland campaign. And then Edmure kind of runs his own Battle of the Fords. And it really angers Robb. But anyways, he captured Flemmet Brax, which is like the first video I ever covered. So, yeah, I love Flemmy. Good old Flemmy Flem. I love Flemmy Flem. All right. When Robb returns to Riverrun from the Westerlands, Jason is cool but courteous toward Catelyn, who released Jaime Lannister without the king's permission. Jason is one of the 7 nobles who are chosen to launch the funeral boat of Lord Hoster Tully at Riverrun. So yeah, he's one of the few nobles to launch the funeral boat, which makes sense because he's one of the biggest, in charge of one of the biggest houses in the Riverlands. But yeah, let's get to why most people showed up. All right. Hagsmire. Jason meets Robb at Hagsmire on the march north to the Twins, bringing with him a captain of the Miraham, who brings news of, Balon Greyjoy's death. Hagsmire is a village in the northern Riverlands, and the seat of House Nayland. All right, gotta take a deep breath. While the host is encamped at Hagsmire, Robb explains his plan to retake Mount Catelyn from the Ironborn to Catelyn and Edmure. Catelyn and Edmure Tully, Jason Mallister, that's this guy, Great John Umber, Galbert Glover, and Mage Mormont. So he tells those guys, hey, I want to retake Mount Catelyn, and this is how. So Jason is ordered by Robb to send 2 Mallister longships into the neck, carrying Galbert Glover and the other Mage Mormont to find Greywater Watch and inform Lord Howland Reed of Robb's plan to retake Mount Catelyn. So I'm going to cover that before I cover the last sentence. So everybody's there, and he drops some news and says, okay, let's retake Mount Catelyn. Let's do it via the Reeds with the crowding men, and we're going to attack, but we're going to just send most people up and around to attack them from the back. So they need to send envoys to Howland Reed, which is really hard to find Greywater Watch. So that's it. So Jason Mallister sends a couple boats carrying Galbert Glover and Mage Mormont. And yeah, so anyways, the final thing is the attendees are also witness to Robb's will. Yeah, I said it. All right. So Robb, we don't know who he left everything to in the will, and we're going to get to all this. But all the people at what did I just call it? Hagsmire are witnesses to that. So they're now, all of them are now important. Moving on, let's finish the story. We'll get back to the will. I know that's why you came here. Red Wedding and the surrender. Robb intends to send Catelyn to Seaguard to spend the rest of the war in safety with Lord Mallister after Lord Edmure weds Rosalind Frey. So that's a really kind of an important thing for Catelyn. So she kind of thinks of it as imprisonment. And then Jason Mallister's like, no, you'll be our honored guest. And she's like, no, be our honored prisoner. So because of the whole letting Jaime Lannister go, Robb's mad at Catelyn. And it kind of just wants her out of his hair and is going to send her to Jason Mallister, which isn't a bad idea because she's going to be safe at Seaguard. Well, most likely, right? But they're doing that after Edmure and Rosalind Frey's wedding. Which wedding was that again? What? It's ringing some bells. Oh, yeah. However, Robb and Catelyn are red weddinged by houses Bolton and Frey during the red wedding. Yeah, they got red weddinged at the red wedding. Oh, sad. Lord Jason surrenders his castle at Seaguard to Black Walder Frey after he threatens to hang Jason's son Patrick, who had been taken captive at the red wedding. Blackwalder keeps Jason as a prisoner inside his own castle along with his son. And as far as the last we've heard, they remain in prison there. So yeah, so now we're reaching to the end of the story, and Jason Mallister, along with his son, are imprisoned at Seaguard by the Freys. So Yeah. All right, let's talk about Robb's will. What's there to say that hasn't been said by many people? So this is not me throwing out my own theory. This is me just talking about the situation. I'm just letting it. I'm not a theory guy. I'm not covering any theories. I'm just saying this is what's going on with Robb's will. So Robb's will is very important and has not been resolved. Most think that he named Jon Snow his heir in his will and legitimized him, meaning that if the will is still around, it could make Jon Snow the King of the North, at least in name, you know. But some think Robb named Stannis, I've heard that, or others as his heir. I've heard a lot of different possibilities of who he named as his heir that's written in the will. Like I've heard Stannis and I've heard other names, not like, but yeah. So mostly it's Jon Snow, but it could be anybody. You know, either way, the will is a ticking time bomb, ready to change everything. Yeah, when we finally find out who has the will, and when certain people find out what's in the will, it could completely change everything. So yeah, it's very exciting. Very exciting. So the current state of people who know about the will are Great John, Jason, and Edmure, who are all captives. So Jason Mallister, the Great John Umber, and Edmure are all captives. And then there's Robb and Catelyn, who are dead. And Cat is, of course, resurrected as Stoneheart. So maybe Stoneheart knows still. And lastly, Galbert and Mage Mormont, whose whereabouts are unknown. They possibly made it to Holland Reed, who may now know as well. Lastly, the unnamed captain of the Mirham might also know, or even have the will. I've seen that theory going around too. This is a huge unknown. I'm sure all of you have your theories and will tell me in the comments. I won't speculate. I just want the next book. I just want to know what it is. I'm not going to speculate. I'm excited to find out if the will's going to come into play, and I think it will. I think the will. But yeah, so lots of really cool theories out there, and I'm not here to discuss every single one of them, of course, but I'm just saying that's the situation with the will, and Jason is tied into it, and that's why I brought it up, because he might know where it is, or he might know who the heir is. So yeah, that's why I brought it up for Jason's video. I did kind of want to cover a character who is involved, one of those names, and Jason kind of seemed like the perfect one because he's involved in a lot of stuff. He seems like a really interesting, good, noble guy, not a bad dude at all. So yeah, that's it. That was Jason Mallister, and of course his involvement in Robb's will. Thank you guys for watching. Click like if you enjoyed this, and subscribe if you haven't, and check out all my other stuff. I just covered Richard Horp, then Christopher Botley, and I did a whole Halloween thing. Even though I'm filming this way before November, this is coming out after. This is coming out after Halloween. Halloween hasn't happened yet for me, but I'm sure it was fun. But I filmed these in advance. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Please click like and subscribe and all that other stuff. And yeah, what do I have for this? I was going to make a joke about how they have an eagle, that they're probably Eagles fans, and I was going to say go Eagles, but as a Vikings fan, it kind of makes me feel sick to say go Eagles. They keep beating us. So yeah, instead I'll say peace. Leave it at that. Peace.